One of the most iconic arcs of Dragon Ball is the Namek arc or Frieza arc. Despite it, there are a lot of flaws inside that have been discussed a lot over time, but something missing out lately is what this arc did well and how well Toriyama alongside Toei writers developed it. This is a series that is beginning on this channel where I will look to discuss things that went well on that arc, and for me, the absolute best thing that happened there is Vegeta's character, and this is what we're about to discuss today. From vowing to destroy the Earthlings and Kakarot, from a shameful loss to a low-class warrior, Vegeta went to Namek with the fear of the tyrant that has disrespected him through his whole life. Being under the radar of Frieza and having the fear that this tyrant will never be destroyed, Vegeta started his journey to Namek to stop it. That was only the beginning of Vegeta's toughest moments of his life. Followed by one of the Frieza's henchmen in Kui, he immediately shows his growth in power that scare even Zarbon and Dodoria, who have been Frieza's right hand through many years. Vegeta is involved in many battles, destroying Kui, learning about the true story of Sans with Frieza, understanding he has been living a lie up until then, having a huge joy into killing Dodoria, and also having the match of his life there versus Zarbon. Vegeta grew a lot as a character, stealing Frieza's Dragon Balls and creating panic, having Frieza call up his special team. Everything that Vegeta did on Namek up until that point had a direct impact on the future. Tough battle after tough battle, we saw Vegeta's not only growth in power but also as a person, realizing that Frieza was scared by the Saiyans was something that really gave him a boost mentally and also prepared him for the big fight. He started to understand more and more about himself as well as his race, of which he was proud to be the prince of. As mentioned, Vegeta faced tough foes before going to Frieza, even had to rely on Kakarot at first to say love, and also had another massive boost in power. Realizing the stakes and having Kakarot healed is also something that would never be on his character, but he truly knew that with the nightmare of his life about to come, he had to do something, and just when he thought he could beat Frieza, he forced the tyrant to actually transform to win the fight. It definitely didn't end well for Vegeta, because all the tough fights he had faced up until that point were zero compared to what he had in front of his eyes. The Super Saiyan he wanted to become still stand as a dream even when he thought he achieved it, and for the first time of his life we see Vegeta with a crying face. And that doesn't happen once but twice, as the first time he's crying from the fear of death, from the Emperor he was facing, and despite all the struggles, all the power he gained, he still wasn't a mess, losing the fighting spirit for the first time in his life, and begging to Kakarot, whose ones he vowed to kill, were definitely some of the Vegeta traits that you would never think you would see given to the character he showed to be before. Even when facing tougher enemies than himself, being close to death before, Vegeta was never really on that state, but against Frieza it was everything combined. Fear of dying, the hatred towards Frieza, and that idea of being killed by one of the guys that he wanted to kill all of his life. The one guy who had shattered and played with his pride through all of his life. The one guy who killed all the Saiyans and takes it as a joke and enjoyment. Not being capable of beating and killing him truly left him dead inside. He gave up on everything the moment he saw he couldn't put up a fight, only to regain that only slim of a hope after seeing Kakarot. Being desperate, he shows his tears and even begs for Kakarot to kill Frieza. He is on that level that even after he is resurrected by the Dragon Balls, he feels joy into seeing Kakarot as a Super Saiyan for the first time. He knew Frieza's time was up, and at that time, that was the only thing on his mind. Obviously, things would change afterwards, but here we are talking about Vegeta and his journey on Namek before the wish goes through and he is transported to Earth alongside everybody else besides Frieza and Goku. Vegeta's character arc on Namek has been absolutely amazing, and one thing that a Dragon Ball viewer, really should take a joy of. We see Vegeta on different status, and I do believe that this is where Vegeta gets most of his quote-unquote fanboys because people could relate somehow to him and his struggles. Not completely, and of course we would never see such story as Vegeta's, but still some people really can feel his pain at some kind of way. This was the first episode that will be brought on this channel. Every week we'll be having something different about things that Toriyama and Toei created on Namek arc. Obviously, if this does well, we might continue with the Cell arc or maybe even go back to the Saiyan arc, but I did skip the Saiyan arc because I do believe that people well and truly appreciate that arc and how good it is. I wanted to start with this one, but we will see and develop things through time. So, if you enjoyed this, please leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe to the channel with notifications enabled if you don't want to miss out in any further content. As for now, have a great time guys, bye.